let's define a function called create order. Define create order. It takes the request and then the payload. Okay, and this should be an order. Let's import it. Say order create schema, and this is getting too long, so let me format this file using a tool called black. So I'll say black store slash api.py store api.py as the path, and then you hit enter. Okay, so it says cannot parse because we have something incomplete here, but I can simply erase this for now or leave it and come back down here and say order create schema, then simply make this an empty function, and then say black store slash api.py, hit enter. Okay, and it has formatted as you see. The imports, everything has been organized well. So you can install black by simply saying pip install black. Okay, so let's continue. So now let's continue this. We can now say let's decorate this function. Say at api.post slash orders. Okay, slash orders, and then the response will be equals to order schema. Okay, so we need to import the order schema also right here. Order schema. Again, if you don't know what all these are, I have explained them in the previous video. So let me minimize all this, get back here, and you can initialize a variable called total. So total will be equals to 0, or better, we can actually use decimal. Okay, so say decimal 0, and it's the type in Python. So I need to import it above here. I'll say from decimal import decimal. I also noticed there are things which you're not using, like this Django auth. I can remove it, I can remove this, okay, to make it clean. So we have our total, which will be 0 by default, which is the decimal, and then I can have here a list of order items, and it's empty initially. So I'll say for item in payload, okay, this is the payload we're going to receive, which will be of type order schema, which will be a list of items, which is simply a list of order item schema, a list of product ID and quantity, as simple as that. So let's go back and continue. So for every item in this payload, we should be able to say, to get a product, let us fetch a product by using get object of 404. So I'll say from Django.shortcuts import get object of 404. So get underscore object of 404, we need something of type product and find it by its ID. Shall say item.id. Okay, so every item in the payload is going to have, yes, this is supposed to be payload.items. Okay, payload.items, because if you come to our schema here, you see we have items. So let's get back to the API. So payload.items, we pick every item from payload.items and then check if that product actually exists. If it doesn't exist, we return a 404. If it exists, then we go ahead and confirm if the stock is available by saying if product.stock is less than item.quantity. Okay, in other words, what you want is more than what is available. In that case, we shall say return API dot create response. And what response shall we give? It will pass the current request. It will take, it's the function. Okay, create response is the function that takes in the current request, and then it takes in a message. You can say error full colon, and then we say insufficient stock for product dot name. As simple as that. After that, we can then pass the status, comma, the status equals to 400, meaning a bad request. Next up, we can now increase the total and say the total will be equals to plus equals product dot price multiplied by the quantity, item dot quantity. Okay, so if initially the total is 0, this will be, for example, adding, if the product price is a bag and the bag is $200 multiplied by 5 bags. Okay, that's the item dot quantity. As simple as that. So let's go on. Next up, we can now populate our order items list. Order items will be equals to, if I can just say append, this is a list dot append, shall append the tuple product, comma, and the item dot quantity. When we're done with that, we can now create an order. Okay, and we shall say our order will be equals to order. So we need to import the order model from here. Okay, you look at it, go back up here and say from models import order. So I'll say order dot objects dot create. Okay, and then we shall say the user will be equals to request dot user, and then the total will be equals to total, which is right up here, this total here. That is for the order. And if you just to quickly check this, it has the user and total field. As simple as that. Then after that, we need to now create order items. Okay, order items, we need to create this right here. And to do that, we can simply go to the next line and say for product, comma, quantity in order items. Okay, so we're making use of our list, which we populated right here on line 101. Order items, we shall say order item dot, so we need to import this model up here. Right here we say order item dot objects dot create and say order equals to order, and then product equals to product. Okay, and then what else do we need? So price equals to product dot price. So that product has to be this one here. Okay, so I was wondering why this is still grayed out. We need to remove the T. Okay, so the order is this order, the product is this current product, and the price is this current product's price. As simple as that. Then after we have created it, we can simply reduce the stock. We say product dot stock minus equals to quantity. Okay, we reduce the current stock by the quantity, by the item number of items which have been ordered. Then of course we need to update the database by saying product dot save. As simple as that. And then we can now say return order. As simple as that. So we need to test this. So to test this, I need to run our server, say python manage.py run server. Okay, that looks to be fine. Now we can, to test this, of course, we need to create a product first. But to create a product, we need to log in. So I'll log in using this username, do, and the password is this. So I created this user. So when I send a request, you see I get back an access token. So I'll copy this token, copy it, come to this endpoint, create order. Okay, create product endpoint, go to authorization, choose bearer token. Okay, then paste your token. So I deleted the previous one and I've pasted in the latest one. Okay, then we can go back to the body and we can create a product here. Okay, so to create a product, if you look at the schemas, okay, the create, where is it? Product, we need a name, description, price, and stock. Maybe I can just copy this meanwhile. Come here and just paste that. Okay, we need a name. We can call this travel bag pro. Description, maybe I can paste that again. Okay, can this travel bag pro 2025, comma, the price $100, the stock, the initial stock, we have 5 bags in stock. Okay, all right, so place a comma there, and then we can now hit send. So we have an internal server error. Okay, so query set.create argument must be a mapping, not a method. It's line 84. Okay, let's go that and fix here. This should be like that. Okay, I missed parentheses on this, sorry. That's why I should have tested in the previous video. After that, let's go back and try to test it again. Hit send, and you still get 200. Okay, and the product has an ID of 3. It's a travel bag and has been created. Let's create another one. Can call it a table and say table pro. Price $500, stock we have 3. Hit send, and there we are, we have that created. Okay, now that we have finished creating a product, actually 2 products, we can now be able to create an order. Okay, so to create an order, actually before I forget, you see, to create a product, we simply go to this endpoint. Okay, API/products, which is defined right here. Where is that? Right here. API/product. So we're going to API/orders, which is here. Okay, and for orders, remember the schema defines that we send items. Okay, so in our dictionary or in our JSON object, actually not dictionary, but JSON structure, we shall have an items key, which will be a list. Okay, so items, which is a list of order item schema, type order item schema, meaning it will have a product ID and a quantity. So like you see here, product ID, quantity. So I'll say, for example, the product that we created recently here, let's see, is a table. Okay, and has a stock of 3, and I remember, I think its ID was 4. So the product ID is 4. How many tables do we need? Let us say 10, and we see what happens. Okay, let's hit send. Okay, we get unauthorized, which is okay. So let's get that that header that we had here. Come here, authorization, paste, send. We get an internal server error, says order item schema has no attribute ID. This line here, line 93. So there's an issue on line 93. This. Oh, yeah, this is correct. There's nothing like ID, but we have product ID. If you look at this, we have product ID. So I have to come here and change that to product underscore ID, like that. So we can come back here and execute. We have a bad request. Okay, so that bad request is Okay, it makes sense. Okay, you see the message we get: insufficient stock for table, because we want 10. I need tables. We created a few. We only have stock for 3 tables, but we want 10. So if I say give me 2 tables and send a request, put an order for 2 tables, we have another error. Says line 103 in create order. Okay, let us get more details. Says value error, cannot assign simple lazy object django.contrib.auth.models anonymous user object at order.user at this address. Order.user must be a user instance. Line 103. So let's go to line 103, which is this. So request.user is anonymous. So we need to assign the attribute user to the request object. To do that, we just need to scroll up here into this auth bearer class, and we say if there is a user, then request.user will be equals to that user, and save. So I hope this fixes that issue. Let's try to create an order, and there we are. We get 200. Okay, so there we are. You see ID2 total 1000. Of course, this is ID2 because I created some orders earlier when I was testing. An order earlier, when I was testing. The total is 1000 status pending created at that time. So you see it was multiplied. If I try to create the same order again, you see we had a bad request, insufficient stock for table, because only one is remaining. If I make a request for one more table, you see we get total 500, status pending, and so on and so forth. Okay, if I say give me for that, okay, insufficient stock, because we had only 3 tables and they have now all been taken. Of course, if you want to make an order of multiple items, then right here you can just duplicate this and add another JSON object into this list. And then you say you want product with ID 3, quantity 2, product with ID 1, quantity 3. Let's find out. Save. And there we are. It actually works. Okay. And it's the total cost of the order. All right. That's it.